Reality Recap.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I know you have the reunion. Yes, we have 2 more episodes. And then we have the reunion, of course.
I look like the slave. I look like a mom. She was like, you the one that look like you got a high body count hair. I fell the fuck out, y'all.
Candace, has Deborah reached out to you to apologize after the episode aired showing Chris did not flirt with her?
She wouldn't dare. She would get eaten for breakfast.
Oh boy.
No, she's doubling down.
Why would you go meet with Ray J without talking to Princess or letting her know why? Like, she's trying to justify that she told her after the fact and not supposed to make it.
What do you think of your ex-husband Jim coming out and saying you did not try to stop him from suing Shannon and Tamara?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, if his memory is a little foggy about what transpired back then, that's okay. However, he did admit that I had nothing to do with the...
Reality Recap. Reality Recap.
Hey, happy Sunday. Hey, it's your girl V with Reality Recap here for another live tea talk session. Today, we are talking about the season premiere this past Friday of Life After Lockup and yesterday's episode of Love Marriage Huntsville. I'm so happy to be here with y'all. We haven't done a Sunday recap in a minute. I miss just being chill in my pajamas, yes, with my little star pimple patch, Sunday self-care Sundays. Hello. But I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I have missed my gang. Hey, Lily, say, yay, I'm so glad you're going live. How are you? But yes, I miss my Love After Lockup gang. So we are here to talk about Life After Lockup season premiere. Before we get started, please make sure you like this video, hit the like buttons, hit those hearts, share this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Reality Recap is coming across the screen. Reality Recap 2876 is also in my link in my bio on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. And make sure you're following me for all the happening, trending reality news on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at reality_recap. We're going to talk about each couple from the season premiere of Life After Lockup. You guys are welcome. The chats are live. Let me know your thoughts as we go through each couple. But I feel like I'm right where I left off back in Deluluville with all of these couples. And I said it in the caption of the of the live today. Just bad plans, bad decisions, and a whole lot of delusion. So we're going to get into each couple. We're going to start with Kiana and Demondre, girl. So Kiana, we know in last season of Love After Lockup, Kiana kicked Demondre out of her house because she found out that through checking his cell phone that he was still canoodling with his baby mama, Joella. He was still talking to her, trying to be in a relationship with her. He was playing both sides, so she kicked him out. Well, she has decided to bring him back. They have mended their relationship for the third or fourth, fifth time now, and they're going to give it another go. Okay, girl. But I mean, how do I feel about this couple? What struck me as strange, right, is that what we knew, or you guys knew if you've been following me or watching my recaps, that Kiana has 2 children of her own. And we talked about in the past how her baby daddy was very vocal on the internet when the couple, Kiana and Demondre first showed up on Love After Lockup. He was very vocal and alleging that Kiana cheated on him, left him for Demondre. He wanted his family and wanted to fight for his family. Similar how Joella is trying to fight for her family. Kiana's baby daddy was on the internet professing his love and his gripe with her leaving to be with Demondre. So we knew she had children, but we did not see of them on the show. She never spoke of them. Well, we did get to see her 2 children on the show. Was it last night? No, it's Sunday. Girl, let me tell y'all, I was in the streets enjoying all these festivals with my kids and carnivals. But yes, Friday night, we got to see Kiana's 2 kids. And it struck me as strange that she talks about how she moved them out of the house to live with what she calls, I believe it's her stepfather, but she calls him G-Pa. She moved her children out of the house so that Demondrick, when he got out of jail, could live with her. He was on house arrest on the bracelet looking for a job. But to hear that she moved her children out so he could move in was odd to me. I know we don't, I try not to mom shame or judge. We see other women who move a man straight in with their children right out of jail, and we all be looking at that a little strange. I just would not move my children out the house for a man that has already done me wrong, already been caught cheating, and we're keep trying this relationship over and over and over again. He would have had to go live somewhere else. He would have had to live, where's his family? He could have went and stayed with his dad. But she was so wrapped up in not wanting or needing to see what Demondrick was doing 24/7, that to hear that she had moved her children out to live with her their G-Pa while Demondrick moved in, for him to come home, play in her face, she find all these text messages and kick him out. So now they're giving their relationship another go. The children are in the house, as well as Demondrick moved back in from his father's house, and this man has a strained relationship with his own children's mother and trying to mend that relationship, yet you move in with Kiana and her children. It's just a lot going on here. Lily said her kids are so well mannered. Say what you want about her, but those babies are so sweet. Yeah, the kids never gonna say anything bad about the kids. I think they were well mannered. They listen. I just would not have moved my children out of their home for a man that has already done me wrong, and we're giving it another go. She moved them back in. The children are there. We'll see how it goes. But I don't want Demondrick to lose sight of his own children. He has 4, 5, 6 kids. We only see the children on the show that he has with Joella, which is 3 boys, but those are not his only children. So he has to focus on his children, and I don't want him to lose sight of that. But anywho, they have decided to give their relationship another go. Joella is upset with Kiana. One of her son's birthdays is coming up, and he's moving in, and then he go grab some pieces to go talk to Joella about the birthday party, and because he wants Kiana to come to the birthday party. And Joella doesn't want her at the birthday party because apparently when Kiana found the text messages between Demondrick and his baby mama, she went on the internet and put Joella's private pictures that she has sent them to Demondrick. She put the pictures on Facebook, and we saw the pictures of I keep saying last night, but we saw the pictures Friday night in the lingerie. And some of you were saying, because I was saying, see, at that point, I would have had to pull up. And some of you who are way more mature than me were saying in the comments that she should go file a police report, sue. She should take that route. But yeah, I would have had to pull up. So I don't understand. Demondrick was laughing when Joella was showing her, like, yeah, your girlfriend put my pictures up on the internet. And he was laughing and telling her she bet not retaliate and you ain't gonna do nothing to her over here. It's like, bruh, this is your baby mother. You don't have where's your respect for her? And Kiana, in my opinion, you mad at Joella. Some of you said too, like, well, Joella knew that he was in a relationship with Kiana. No, Kiana know that he was still deep in with Joella. I don't know how she wouldn't have when he got locked up. It's all over his Facebook page, her Facebook page, him wishing her happy Valentine's Day. She's always been around his family. So why you mad at Joella and putting up her pictures? Because Kiana, what were the text messages around the pictures that you saw? Because from what Joella is telling us, it was Demondrick telling her that he wanted his family, he wanted to come home. So he's playing both sides. So everybody's mad at everybody, but the person they should be mad at, which is Demondrick. He did not lead me to believe that he's gonna go back to Kiana and be faithful. Yeah, he told us that he found the one that make him want to do right, but he also told his father when he was moving out that, hey, mistakes are gonna be made. You know, we're just gonna have to work through it. What? Lot going on with Kiana and Demondre. You could see it in her face when they sat down to do the confessionals. It was in her face that she doesn't have full trust in him. Who wants to keep trying and being in something that you don't have trust? Why would you want to keep putting yourself through that? Yeah. Lily said, OMG, I didn't realize he has other kids besides those 3. Yeah, Lily. He has I believe it's either 5 or 6, no more than 6. But yeah, he has other children. We're just seeing the 3 with Joella. So he should be trying to get himself established instead of worrying about all these relationships and trying to be a playboy and all of that. Did he get a job yet? We don't know. We didn't. It's only the first episode. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Last time we saw him going on job interviews with a AK-47 necklace around his neck, talking about he got gun charges and trying to get a job with that necklace on. I can't. So we'll see what happens with this birthday party, if he can remain faithful to Kiana, but he wouldn't be on this show if he was going to be able to remain faithful. So we'll see how that works out, but it's already off to a rocky start if you ask me. We also saw Brooke and JK in this episode. As you guys know from Love After Lockup, JK was locked up for a number of years. He came home. Brooke had her concerns that he was going to go back to his ex-girlfriend. And we find out that they're trying to have a baby. Although they don't have a pot to piss in, they are sleeping and having sex on an air mattress in JK's mama's living room. She's telling him how she's staying in her bedroom more because she's tired of hearing them having sex. Her house feel like it's getting smaller with Brooke there all the time. And Brooke got kids of her own. But you on the air mattress at JK's mama's house while your mother's taking care of your children. She wakes up in the morning and goes get her children and take them to school. And she told JK that she was going to work. But we also find out because in the last season, Brooke had a tracker on JK because she don't trust him. We got a lot of relationships that are not built on any trust and they're expecting them to work out. But that's neither here nor there. But we find out that she's holding a secret from JK, that because when she tracked him and found him at his ex-girlfriend's house in the last season and she left work abruptly, that she lost her job because of that. So you lost your job that pays you for the job that don't pay you, which is chasing JK around and trying to make sure that he's being faithful to you. Where they do that at? I'm not letting no man come in between me and my money. I don't get that. So now she has no job. He's trying to find a job. She says something about he sells plasmas and gets $100. He mentioned some like trucking job that he was going to pick up where he get paid a dollar per mile that he drives, and he wants to do that, which means he wouldn't be home, yet they're planning to have a baby and using some type of seed lube that helps the little sperm swim faster. Like, what are we talking about here? I told you, like, we're just back in the land of delusion. But yeah, they planning a baby in the midst of nobody having a job and JK still being on this ankle monitor, but he's supposed to get off in a few weeks. So we'll see what happens after that. But just watching them on this air mattress was enough to make me want to go through the TV and smack the shit out of Brooke. Like, go home to your kids. What are you doing? I try not to mom shame, but just common sense is common sense. Lily said Brooke and JK look musty to me. We never see them shower. She getting up off the air mattress, talking about she going to get the kids. We don't see her go. They kissing, ain't brushing no teeth. I don't know, but it's another hectic, delusional couple. So I just pray that we know so far that they are not pregnant. they weren't even together. So I don't even know why, some of these couples we're watching, knowing that in today's land, they're not even really still together. I don't, they were back and forth. Let me look at JK's. Let me look at his Instagram, because I know he got some new teeth. We know that. And they weren't together. People were alleging that he had a baby with someone else, but it was actually his sister that he was with, that he was in the hospital with. He had a picture with Brooke back in December of 2024, but nothing recently with her. So I don't even think they're still together right now. So some of these couples we're following and they're not together present day. So yeah, we'll see what's happening with Brooke and JK in the upcoming season. Then we got to see Keith and Letitia. Keith is finally home after Letitia being on Love During Lockup two times, or she was on Love During Lockup and Love After Lockup, because she thought that Keith was coming home, and he didn't come home, but he finally got out, and they are willing to come on and do another interview. I love Letitia. She is one of the first reality TV stars that gave me an interview and supported me. So I'm forever grateful to her for that. So I'm glad that Keith is home. He has to do some time in the halfway house, so we'll see him travel there. She got him a limo. She came in her lingerie and her little black trench coat to pick him up, but they have to travel to the halfway house. I believe she said in Idaho, and he didn't want to take no chances. He said, listen, I didn't communicate with anyone that I would be like taking a limo or riding with anyone. So he wants to be by the book. He doesn't want to go back to jail. He wants to take the bus. And she said, all right, we'll take the bus with you. Hey, Joe. Joe, thank you for checking in on YouTube. How are you? But yeah, we finally will get to see Keith and Letitia's dynamic of marriage outside of him being in prison. There is an elephant in the room. She spoke on it briefly, where Letitia she has some legal issues going on herself. So I'll give you guys a little background of it. So Letitia was arrested in April of 2024, and she was being charged with a felony theft in second degree. The reason for the arrest was, long story short, she has her business Boss Tax and Accounting Services. So the defendant in this case said that Letitia offered tax services to her, which were completed. As a result of the tax services, the defendant was informed that they had a tax liability of $8,788. The defendant offered to pay the tax liability for the victim. So Letitia offered to, she did the woman's taxes, or I believe it's a woman. She did the woman's taxes. She told the woman that she owed the IRS $8,788. The defendant paid Letitia this money to pay the IRS, and she's alleging that Letitia never paid the tax money. She kept the money. That's what she's alleging. So it was supposed to go to, it says, the defendant saying that, or the victim saying that she got a receipt indicating that the payment was made, and that it was $40 made to the state of Iowa, $457 to Illinois, $4,159 to the IRS for 2022, and another $4,132 in 2021. But the victim is alleging that Letitia did not pay the outstanding liabilities to these tax bureaus, that she kept the money. So Letitia touched on it quickly, saying she had the legal issues at the beginning of this episode, and she said that she was innocent. I do know the woman, the victim in this case, she has been relentless since Letitia has been on the first episode that she aired on Love During Lockup. This woman anybody that will listen, she has been relentless in trying to get this money back. I know she's reached out to me on my platforms, all of the Love After Lockup groups on Facebook. She's told her story in there. Anybody that covers Love After Lockup, she has reached out to them. Letitia has also alluded to the fact, I don't know if it's about this woman, I'm just assuming that, but she's alluded to someone stalking her. She's not feeling safe, that only people that of a celebrity status or have buku money, only stalkers at that capacity are taken seriously, while others that may not be huge celebrities have to deal with stalkers on a daily basis. So I know this woman is relentless. So we'll see how that plays out. The woman has also recently, I've seen some recent reports of saying or accusing Letitia of trying to like swindle her way out of the court case, keeps filing motions to have the court date pushed back or over and over and over again. So this is still an ongoing case that has not been resolved as of yet. So we'll see. Hopefully she did do what she was supposed to do with the tax money. If she didn't, just pay this woman back so you can get on with your life. But now she's has these charges and has to go through with the case. So I will keep you posted on that. And we'll see more of, Keith coming home and how their relationship gels with her children. He has children. We'll see how it goes. And they also talked about wanting to have biological children together. So the teacher said, listen, I'm pushing 40. So we're going to have to do this sooner than later. So we'll see how their dynamic is outside of the prison, because they've been married for a few years now, but never face to face. So that has to be different. We'll see how that plays out. Also, Will and Courtney, child, Will want us to feel sorry for him, and I do not, because you married the woman the same day she got out of jail. But we met Will last season of Love After Lockup. He was in a relationship only through, met Courtney on the Prison Pal site. She came home to a halfway house. He married her, literally proposed to her the same day she got out of jail. And he then they got married. He did this, in my opinion, hoping that she would be able to move back to the state that he's in. I think he's in Sacramento, but he was hoping that the courts would let her parole or after her halfway house situation in his state if they were married. So they decided to get married, and right away, while he was visiting before he went back home, he had suspicions that she may be using drugs. They had a conversation, like she got back to the halfway house and her speech was a little slurred or delayed, and he had some concerns. She got upset with him for accusing him and saying that he had no trust in her. She made it very clear that she's a kept woman. She's used to men spending a whole lot of money on her, sugar daddies, and she wanted an allowance from Will before he went back home, and he agreed to the allowance. Well, 6 weeks later, he only been home for about 6 weeks. He can't find her. He has a tracker on her phone. The phone is in the river somewhere, and he hasn't heard from her in a couple of days. He hears from her and finds out that she is locked up again. Joseph says, side note, Keith's locks were fresh coming out of that prison. Yeah, it seems like Joe, it seems like Keith he's done a lot of time, and it seems like he has the hookup in jail, which is not uncommon. That he probably, they have barbers and stuff in jail, so it's not uncommon. You saw the artwork that he gave her, those handmade flowers. I said that in my caption, like, the amount of talent that is in jail is insane. I'm not gonna say you would be surprised, but it's so many talented people in jail that they can come up with anything, like doing hair, cuts, braids. Like, some of the best birthday cards I have ever received came from jail. Like, they make the best birthday cards ever. Like better than anything you could buy in the store, and it's all handmade, crafted. So yeah, his locks were dope. So it seems like, doing 13 years or so in jail, you come across some connections in there. But he definitely came out looking better than half of these people when they come out. They be looking disheveled and a mess, like Courtney did when she came out. But yeah, hi Toria. But yeah, Will wants us to feel sorry for him. And I just don't feel sorry for Will because he married this woman without getting to know her. So she's locked back up. I had to look up because she said that she got back to the halfway house and she had a controlled substance on her. I think she said 8, was it HBG or whatever? Something she said, but I looked it up and it was like an antidepressant that if you take it in low dosages, like it's like a liquid ecstasy is what I read it to be. So that's what she had in her system or had on her, and they locked her back up. So she said she could be in jail. Hey BJ, happy belated birthday. But yeah, she's locked back up. She can do anywhere between, I think she said she could get out in a few days or do 6 months. I'm thinking she's gonna do more like 6 months. Like you had just got out, you were in the halfway house and you already violated. So thinking she's gonna get out in a few days is just something that she's telling him, some delusional shit she's telling him, hoping that he sticks around. So he was very stern with her, but we all know he gonna give in. But he's invested. He spent thousands of dollars on her when she got out. He's saying he spent 10,000 on the ring. He bought her $1,000 in clothes and getting her set up, cell phones, all for her to go back to jail. Exactly, Tori. I'm not surprised neither. Nor do I feel bad for him. I really don't. Like they don't be giving, they give it all, right? So he was already giving it all to her while she was locked up. And now she gets home and it's like you lay down everything. You don't wait to see if she's gonna do right, get a job, get stable. They be head in, diving straight in. So we'll see what happens if she gets out or well, we do see some confessionals with her in the sneak peeks of in the trailer. So she's most likely going to get out before the season ends. So we'll see how that happens or if he has to pay any money to help get her out or some lawyer fees. So but he tried to be tough with her. He said he ain't put no money on her books, that she could eat that jail food and sit until they figure it out. I said, go ahead, Will, trying to give tough love. You should have did that when she got out. Maybe you wouldn't be in this situation. You loved Diane. I did too. Because Will, I will say, we talked about it before, he's not your typical, like we usually get like a nerdy guy, a guy that's, may be antisocial, that looks for loves on these sites, and the girl comes out and completely runs over him. And Will is just not, he does at least stand up for himself, because we saw him, he get a little, that neck get the roll, and he was like, no, I spent bands on you. What you mean? Like he speaks up for himself, and I like that about him. So he told her, nah, I ain't put no money on your books, because if you loved me, you wouldn't have did what you did to go back to jail. So sit. You gonna have to sit and wait. So hopefully he sticks to his guns, and we'll see what happens with their relationship. But I just don't think she's gonna be able to stay clean. Unfortunately, I just don't. Toria, you came in a little late. We just so far, guys, we talked about Kiana and Demondra. We talked about Brooke and JK. We talked about Keith and Letitia. I let you guys know a little bit about what's happening legally with Letitia, because that woman is on her ass. We talked about Will and Courtney. Now we're going to talk about Daniel and Bianca. Daniel and Bianca is another couple that we're just going through the motions with, because they are not together. Daniel actually got locked back up. I don't know for what, but it was like one day he was on the internet on Instagram working out. The next day he was giving us a tour of his cell and where he goes for breaks to smoke cigarettes in jail. I don't know what happened, but if he backslid or got into some trouble, but Daniel was actually locked up again and they are not together. So this is just a couple of delusion that we're going through. Bianca is expecting Daniel to marry her. She feels like he love bombed her and told her all these things, and he came home and didn't keep his word. She's moved all the way from Florida to Arizona to be with him. She had a horrific car accident she was in. Her friend was a drunk driver. Y'all can see, probably notice the cut on her neck. She had a bunch of injuries. She got a settlement from that. She's still living on the settlement. No plans of getting a job. Daniel's concerned about that. He's saying like she just spends money like it's water. He doesn't know how much she has. He's trying to keep up with her and work, and she wants, this wedding and to be married. His friend Gator, who told him in the last season, run, yo, all y'all do is argue, not a good couple, y'all shouldn't be together. Bianca doesn't like his friend Gator, but she has a liking of his fiance. They hung out together and she's seemingly jealous because Gator and his fiance are getting ready to get married. So she went to the store with her to look at wedding dresses, and then she's trying on wedding dresses. So she wants to get married in a black dress. Child, I don't know what's going on. Daniel saying weird stuff like, yeah, you know what? I was just picturing what you look like bald. What? We're just going through the motions with these two, I tell you, because they are not together right now. Let's see some of your comments. Tori said, did you talk about baby mama versus girlfriend? Are you talking about with Demondrick and Kiana? Yes, we talked about that. If that's what you're talking about. Yep, we talked about Demondrick and Joella and the pictures she put up of her on Facebook. We talked about how I thought it was strange that Kiana moved her kids out to have Demondrick come in the last season for him to play in her face, and she brought her kids back home, and now trying to bring him in, and he's trying to integrate into a family when he got 5-6 kids he need to integrate into their lives and be present for. It's a lot going on there. Lex said, thank you for checking in on YouTube. Said whoever is raising them kids might be doing a good job. I don't know if it's due to old girl who's in and out of jail. Which couple are you talking about? Because I know Daniel has children. And that too, like Daniel's another one who has children, and you worried about chasing them behind Bianca. When Bianca is childish and needs to mature. But they've moved out of the apartment that we saw them in the last time. They've got a new apartment. They're furnishing it. We saw that on Instagram, but they are no longer together. So we're kind of just all of them. All of them. Yeah, I feel you on that, because I mentioned that, Kiana has her G-pop who really supports her. Thank God for him and his stability. Brooke has her mom taking care of her kids while she on an air mattress at JK Mama house. Letitia's get supports from Keith's aunts and family as well. She traveled to get him out of jail. Will and Courtney don't have any kids. Daniel has children. It seems like the mother of his kids she just do her own thing. And yeah, Bianca is another one wanting to get married and have children with someone who is trying to get stable after being in jail, who also, we learned, backslid. He went out and had some drinks. He hasn't told Bianca that. Bianca has finally decided to stop drinking and be a support system for him, who we know is a recovering alcoholic, and drug addict. So it's just, we all know half these couples be doing from the start, but yeah, we find out he hasn't told Bianca. He actually hadn't mentioned it to anyone. He said it only happened one time. He went out and ordered some shots and had some shots. So I don't know what he got locked up for again, but yeah. Would you say 3 words? Short blonde wig. What? But yeah, has Daniel posted anything lately? Because that's what he was doing. He was like doing get ready with me, and he was showing us where Like he's turned his page into like a inmate content creator page. Like he showed us how he makes his oodles and noodles in jail. He showed us like some of the meals that he eats, where he goes and works out. He gave us a tour of his cell. So yeah, those were the last things that he posted. I wanted to read his caption really quickly. He was just talking about in one of his captions how he rolled the dice with his freedom and gambling his freedom, and he needs to take a different route and make different decisions. He says, I suppose I'll start here for all of you to read and respond as you may. It's time for me to start being open because for a majority of my life, I've been closed off. So yeah, that's what he be doing. He be on there showing us how he making his oodles and noodles and his jail meals and stuff like that. But what he got locked up for, I have no idea. But yeah. I don't even know how he got a phone in jail giving us a tour of his cell. And then I saw even like they had a barbecue at the prison and he was on the grill. Like he's turned into a prison inmate content creator. You talking about Joella baby mama. Okay, now I follow it. Jethro on Instagram said 3 words, short blonde wig. I don't know what's up with Joella and this wig, child. I don't know what's up with her. And she's a bit too calm for me for the stuff that Kiana has done to her. But that's what I'm saying. The ones that's calm and cool collected, sometimes you gotta watch them. Joella said, don't mess with me. That wig is giving scorned woman. Soria said, I see he say he haven't cheated on anything, but not according to the text messages receipt from a woman that posted it in the group last season. From preview, it seemed like they may have some infidelity. You talking about Daniel? Daniel? Because Bianca posted a lot of his text messages too, that Daniel had some infidelity. I honestly thought that's what he was going to talk about when he said that he backslid. I thought he was going to talk about cheating because Bianca posted a whole bunch of texts and he was sending, little peen pics and everything. Or are you talking about Demondrick? Because I mean, Joella said that as well, that she doesn't believe that Demondrick's not talking to other women. So ain't none of these folks. We keep expecting men. Oh no, the tax lady. Huh. Now the tax lady, Letitia, I know there was some speculation that Keith had cheated. I do see in the preview of what's to come, there's gonna be some text messages that Letitia finds. There was also some pictures of Letitia with a woman, but that was a family member of his, so that was false. So it does seem like there's going to be something going on. So I did talk to Letitia. She wants to come back and do another interview because she's always been a great supporter. And I asked if, her and Keith would come on, and she told me anytime. So I told her once we get a little bit further into the season and we see what's happening with them, we will have Letitia on. And yes, I will ask the hard questions. What's going on with her case? I know the woman that is alleging that Tisha keeps pushing the case back and trying to avoid the case or something like that. So I will ask the hard questions and find out what's going on. But it does seem like some text messages is going to come up on the season. And I believe it's the same ones of the woman that you're talking about. Oh, it was in the Facebook groups. Yeah. More to come on that. We'll see. So the last couple before we get into Love and Marriage Huntsville was Justine and Michael. Why is Justine and Michael on this show? At this point, it's just another stream of income for them. But Justine and Michael with their 20 million kids. They're on the show and deciding that they're going to have a wedding. Michael is just now realizing how much it costs to raise a child after having them back to back to back. He has, Justine's oldest daughter in college. His daughter's about to go to college. Then a year or so after that, they have two more that'll be getting ready to go to college. So, yes, $60,000 is what Justine gave as the budget when they have 9 kids, which is insane. Michael said that their main source of income is they have a car, like an exotic car rental business. So if celebrities come in town or, high rollers come in town, they rent their high-end exotic cars from them. And that's their main source of income. Also getting checks on this show. They have music that they've dropped. I've seen them do some festivals together performing. Yeah. So in the midst of all of this, she wants to spend $60,000 on a wedding, which didn't match the aesthetic of the wedding. She talking about she want an elephant outside the wedding and people taking pictures with the elephant. She want henna and all this stuff going on. Like, girl, what? That's not gonna cost $60,000. It's gonna cost like $600,000. But yeah, she wants to have this extravagant wedding. But listen, dream big, Justine, because she always push him and then he get it done. So she wanted a big house out in Vegas. He told her no. She got the house. She wants this big wedding. He gonna find a way to pay for it. But he also is investing in some type of beauty parlor, barbershop, like a unisex hair salon. And it's gonna cost him $100,000 to invest in that. And he hasn't told Justine that he's investing this money or promised this money for the business while she's planning a wedding with elephants. So, yeah. So I don't know why they keep ending up on this show. At this point, we could have had Julius and Alexis instead of Justine and Michael, but I guess at the time of filming, Alexis and Julius wasn't in the best place, but now they together. They giving y'all family content on YouTube and want y'all to subscribe. They went on their first vacation in Miami. The streets was buzzing. I put up a post saying they seemingly had got engaged because we saw Julius on the beach with a "Will you marry me" sign, but apparently they was just playing volleyball and that was happening in the background. He quickly took to Instagram. I don't know why he would post the picture knowing everybody would think that, but again, they need followers. That's how they get their money. They're on TikTok. But he quickly took to Instagram and said, no, they're not engaged. He said, maybe one day, but today ain't the day. How embarrassing. I don't even know why he put that picture up, but again, it's clickbait. He gets paid from TikTok and YouTube and all of those good things. So why are you laughing at me, Toria? So yeah. So I would have rather them at this point because they want y'all to believe they are a healed, growing couple. And I hope they are. I really hope they are. But I would love to have seen them on there. But yeah, I don't know what was the other business, Tori. I just know music, the exotic cars, and now he's trying to do this unisex salon. Yes. Embarrassing. How embarrassing. I would even say, like, babe, do you think it's a good idea for you to put that picture up? Or if I saw it up, I would have been like, maybe you should take that down because people are going to think that we're engaged. But I mean, they're having a great time in Miami. You would have thought he took her to Bora Bora, but they're young, they're happy, and I'm hoping the best for them. Hoping he can keep on the straight and narrow because he made it clear he wasn't getting no job. So let's move over to Love and Marriage Huntsville. We could talk about that really quickly. I'm watching, but I'm annoyed. And I told you guys that when I covered it last time. Tisha and Ken are getting on my nerves. So we started off the episode with the continuation of the altercation between Ken and Marquez. If Marquez was not signed up for this show, Ken and Trish would have no storyline. There would be nothing for them to talk to us about. I guess if that wasn't the case, they would show them trying to get this gym together that they talked about, but they have nothing going on but trying to make Marquez out to be a bad person, and for Ken to keep fighting this man, talking about it's his family, when Tisha and when Trish ain't thinking about marrying him. They don't even discuss it. And we saw his friend continuing, the same friend we saw in the last season, telling him like, bruh, walk away from this. Like, you trying to appease Marquez's feelings, or you trying to be there for these kids and do all of this stuff for a family, or for a woman that has no desire to marry you. What are you doing? Like, I don't know how many times somebody got to tell him that. He like, well, the puzzle pieces do fit together, but we got this one piece, Marquez, that don't fit. That's the kid's father. What do you mean he's a puzzle piece that don't fit? You're the puzzle piece that don't fit. What are we talking about? Trish got her friends involved, Sharon, who need to mind her business. I told you, I think they like each other. Don't ask me why, but that's the vibe they give off. Exactly. Jeffo said, I love the advice Ken's friend gave him. Yeah. He was getting upset with his friend, but that's the type of friends you need to tell you the truth. And I was happy he had that conversation with him too. Like, from someone on the outside looking in, bro, you're looking crazy. Like, you going out real sad. You doing all of this and y'all ain't even engaged. That's not your family. And he always talking about he coming off the road. Like, okay, bruh, I'm still trying to figure out what does Ken and Trish do. I'm going to just go with Ken is a truck driver, because every episode he talking about he just came off the road. So we just going to go with that. But they don't show us nothing about their lives other than them talking about Marquez all the time. They have nothing else to talk about. Toria said, at all. And Ken is getting on my nerves. The action of the kids shows. You saw the son went after his dad. So all this trying to make him look bad is crazy. Where is Ken's daughter? What relationship he got with his child? Exactly. What relationship does Trish have with his child's mother? Right? But Ken is trying to make it seem like, well, he got into this relationship and it was cool at one point because Marquez wasn't around. I don't believe that he completely walked out of his children's life. I do love watching Marquez say slick shit like, I gave her to Ken. I like say, sorry, but I'm team Marquez. I am. So yeah, they wouldn't have a storyline if it wasn't for Marquez. Miss Nell is always going to do what Miss Nell does. We didn't see Destiny or Martell in this episode, but Nell talked about how, you know, her and Destiny's relationship is a little strained because she was upset that she invited Sonny to her party in the other season. Miss Nell sat down with Kimmy, Tisha, and Trish. And Miss Nell is going to get the party started, honey. She's going to ask the questions that nobody else is asking, that everybody else is walking around and avoiding. And she said, I want to know how y'all feel about that interview that Martell did with that woman saying that she was Marceau's side chick. And that she got DP'd by Marceau and Maurice. And both of them skated around the question, didn't want to answer it. Tisha saying, if you want to know how I felt, you know, check my live. They walking on eggshells because they don't want Martell to do no more interviews or get active back on the internet. That's what it is to me. They don't want Martell to get active. So they tippy-toeing around it like, where there's smoke, there's fire. They have the same gut feelings that we do. That's why in the other episode, when Kimmy got upset asking, you know, well, Fletcher or Chris got on an interview saying that y'all the type to have women sign NDAs, y'all side chicks. You had any side chicks sign any NDAs? And she was mad that Maurice's response was, I haven't had anybody sign any NDAs other than him saying, I don't have no side chicks, so it ain't no need for no NDAs. That's what she was hoping he said. It's awkward in their conversations and even in their date nights. Like, they have the same gut feelings we have. You can see it on the screen, but they're dancing around the subjects. They don't want to talk about how they feel about Martell's interview because they don't want him to get active again. So yeah, I'm just waiting for Martell to show up with Ariane. Like they keep trying to soft launch Ariane and him talking about her, and she, even though he was on his episode, it's like, bro, if y'all bringing him on the show, if you bringing this chick on the show, just do it. They trying to soft launch her by saying, you know, oh, we're moving in together. Oh, I'm gonna pay for her to go to nursing school. Like, just bring the girl on the show at this point. Maybe to make the show more interesting, because it is a little bit boring. Jethro said, and I agree, Trish and her friend give off weird energy. Her friend came with the smoke and really had no business being there. She ain't had no business being the first time or the second time. And they're trying to make a big thing out of Marquez, like he just walked in the house. No, he came there with his daughter. He was dropping her off. You know, the children that they say he don't spend no time with. He was dropping his daughter off. She had bags and sodas, and she opened the door and he came in with her. After we had seen Ken have a conversation with him, telling that he's welcome anytime. So what are we talking about here? It's just making a mountain out of a molehill, trying to make a storyline. Latoya said that should tell Tisha and them Destiny isn't a friend. How you friends with Ari after she has dragged your friends and their husbands? Right. Yeah. Destiny is always gonna be Team Martell. She said that's her big brother, her little brother is supportive, so she with whatever he doing, and that means she cool with Ariane, even though Ariane sat on there and talked about her friend's husband. So yeah, that would make the show more interesting, Toria. Like, why we not talking about that? Why y'all not sitting down and talking with Destiny about her relationship with Martell after that interview? Why we not getting to that? Because they scared Martell gonna get active. Also in this episode, we learned Kimmy, you know, Kimmy has a son that isn't with Maurice, and Kimmy's son feels like Maurice was harder on him than he is on his own son Monster, that he's always been tough on him. He always felt like he was in trouble. He gravitated more towards Marceau as a father figure and doesn't feel like Maurice is a father figure at all. So it was an interesting conversation. It was really awkward and sad to see, though, because when Maurice had the conversation with Kimmy's son, it was kind of like he was alluding to the fact of, well, you know, I chose to be there for you. I chose to be your father, as if he was trying to say I didn't have to do that. It was a really awkward conversation, and it didn't go well. Maurice is always careful about his words. He's always in lawyer mode and always trying to, you know, you can see him processing what he says, and he wasn't genuine in that conversation with his son. I can see how he feels that way. I don't know why he would go to Marceau as a father figure, but I guess Marceau is just maybe a good father figure, good dad, not a great husband. I don't know. But it was sad almost to see him try to have that conversation and Maurice not really open to it. It's almost like he feels like he did a great job, or he felt like he had to set greater expectations for him because he was older than Monster, and that he didn't show any favoritism, instead of acknowledging how this man feels about you and your parenting as him coming in a blended family. It was sad, and Maurice wasn't open to the conversation. Hey, Sam Sports, thank you for checking in on Instagram. How are you? But yeah, it's just sad to see. And he's not open to it. And it even caused a rift between Marceau and Maurice at the end of the episode, where they were having dinner, and Marceau was saying, like, you know, stepson came to me, we were talking, he was talking about this family business, he doesn't feel that great about it. He looks at me like a father figure and not you, because you got that golden child mentality with Monster. And he wasn't open to it. And he said, I thought he was about to spill some tea on Marceau, because he was like, you're lying right now. He was like, you lie all the time. And then it was a to be continued. So we'll see where the rest of that conversation goes. But I said, you about to tell something? Because what you mean he lie all the time? Let me know. Tori said, I love Kimmy, but she don't have a storyline. This man said this over 2 years ago, and they just now addressing it. I'm like, Kimmy, bye. Yeah, it feels like an exploitation of his feelings in this season because they have nothing else to talk about. But they do have stuff to talk about, right? Let's address this interview that Martell did with this woman. Why are we not addressing that? They have stuff to talk about. I mean, after that, they wouldn't have nothing to talk about. But yeah, this season is lacking. I know everybody hates Ariane, but I'm secretly hoping she does come on and stir up some trouble because they need it, child. But I'm watching. But that's how I feel about it. But yeah, lackluster so far. So Tori said, who Maurice will spill tea because he has before on Marceau. That is why Marceau going to be very careful about what he going to say. Yeah, when he said you lie all the time, you saw Marceau's face was like, oh shit. What he about to say? So, we will definitely see. Yes, I'm watching. I'll keep recapping. I do have to watch the other show. I know there's a new show on that I asked you guys, would you be watching? And I'm going to take a look at it today since I am finally out of the realm of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm so glad that season is over, y'all. I couldn't be happier. So it's Heart and Hustle Houston. They had their season premiere. So I'm going to watch that and see my thoughts on that. Most of y'all said y'all ain't going to watch. Y'all want me to watch and tell y'all if it's worth watching or if they get a second season. Because I guess y'all tired of these shows on OWN that come on and we only get one season and it goes away. So I will definitely watch and give y'all a green screen of my thoughts this week. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Life After Lockup and Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'll be back tomorrow just to wrap up and put a bow on Basketball Wives. We saw the season finale this past week of Basketball Wives. There will be no reunion. So we'll talk about that. That was the most confusing season finale I've ever watched, but we'll talk about that. Should I do that tomorrow? Yeah, I will do that tomorrow. We'll talk about Basketball Wives and then set your alerts. We'll keep, still covering Love and Hip Hop, ATL. We'll wrap up Basketball Wives and we'll keep covering Life After Lockup and Love and Marriage Huntsville. It's summertime. I'm glad I'm getting a break from some shows, but there's some shows coming back. Salt Lake City is coming soon. I'm looking for the trailer any day now of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So before I get out of here, remember, like this video, please share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the screen, Reality Recap 2876. It's in the link in my bio on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. And follow me, reality_recap, for all the reality trending news. As I always say before I end my lives, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. Happy Sunday. I'm so glad I got up, took a shower, put on my fresh Walmart pajamas, put a little pimple patch on for Self-Care Sunday and said, let me come talk to my peoples. Thank you for checking in. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of y'all commenting. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Set your alerts. Happy Sunday. Peace.